In this episode, we will explore how doing different often begins with a challenge, a shift, or a painful season, and how those moments can lead to emotional maturity, acceptance, creativity, and reinvention. Sharing your story will help listeners feel less alone and more hopeful about their own journey. Maybe your journey includes embroidery, painting, writing that book you've been carrying in your heart, or simply opening a journal and letting the words spill out like truth, finally finding its voice. These aren't just hobbies, they're therapy, they're reclamation, they're the quiet ways we come home to ourselves after seasons of forgetting. And the beautiful part is the possibilities are endless. There is no right way to start, no perfect moment, no permission slip needed, just you, your curiosity, and the courage to try. So what are you waiting for? Your time is now. Lean into the softness, the color, the texture, the story. Embrace the therapy of creativity and let it lead you back to the parts of yourself that have been waiting to be seen. Let's begin. Today, my dear friend Veronica Durre joins me for her second interview. She has grown so much in this past year, and she is here to encourage you to do the same. Welcome, Veronica.
Thank you, Kim, for having me back again. It's a pleasure.
You're welcome. I wanted to touch base with you and ask you, what has your different been and what helped you grow through it since the last time that we had your first interview last
Yeah,
year?
which was about 10 months ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, I've been experimenting with some other types of creative art, painting rocks, attempting to do some canvas paintings, which I'm not really enjoying that much. But I really enjoy using the stencils and the paint pens to paint rocks.
Yeah. And you've
Yep,
been doing so good. I've been watching your growth.
thank you. And I've just been doing a lot of embroidery projects and getting back into some, yarn work, needlework type things.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And as my friend, I know that you're learning to paint on the rocks, but you're also painting on other things too. I've seen your fence. Um, I've seen a lot of your projects. The wall behind you. I can see the flowers and the butterflies.
Mm-hmm.
And you're part of my painting with purpose. You do the
Yes.
trivia on there and my crafting classes as well. And so, how has creativity supported your healing or your reinvention of yourself?
It definitely has reinvented myself because I've always told myself I'm not any good at painting. I'm not an artist. I write poetry, but that was my creative outlet. And I wasn't doing really anything else creative because I told myself I just couldn't do it. I wasn't good enough. But
Hmm.
I'm proving myself wrong by doing these other things.
Yeah, and you became bolder and you just took the leap and you just did it. And I'm so proud of you. And you discovered that you are an artist. And it's
Yeah.
amazing. And if you want to tell others out there what you did
Mhm.
with your stones, like what are you doing with the stones?
I am keeping a few of them. I've given a few away. I took actually one to my chiropractor yesterday when I saw him, and he
Really?
loved it. And I
Great.
have a little basket in tied to my front yard tree, and it says kindest rock garden. So I put rocks in there, and people can take them or leave their own rocks in there.
Okay, that's awesome. And I've seen them. And the other day you told me they were all gone and you needed to replenish them.
And I did. I painted four more. I put two of them out there, gave one away, and then I have one left for these when these are gone, to put another one out there right away. And then I will be painting
Wow.
some more later in the month. I will paint a bunch more.
And we're going to be showing some of your artwork too in the clips on the podcast. And you've done so much and it's so beautiful. And what do you think are some ways that this journey of yours that you've discovered this past year, how do you think that's helped other people or inspired them
I
with the
think seeing,
posting
I
with the
think
posting of all your art?
I think that when other people see what can be done, it inspires them to try and then find their passion, whatever, whether it's painting on rocks, fences, canvas, doing watercolor, or maybe it's something else creative. Maybe it's writing poetry or doing needlework or crocheting and making things. Because it,
Mhm.
or music, learning to play an instrument, singing,
Right.
whatever it is that their passion is, they need to
Right.
explore it and find what their passion is and continue with it.
And you do have an
Mm.
instrument. What is that called? It's that little drum that I want to get. I want to get one like that too.
It's called a tongue drum or a steel drum. There's a
Yeah,
couple
I
of
love
names
it.
for them. Yeah.
I love it. And it comes with the
It
does it come with the music that shows you where to bang on the drum or
it you can get a music book to go with it, but I can't read. I mean, I can't do it and read the music at the same time. I find that
yeah,
frustrating. So I just pound on it and make my own music,
it's soothing. It's
which I
really
do with my
soothing.
harmonica also. I don't
Oh,
read
right.
harmonica music. I just play my harmonica, so it's good for me.
Right, right. Well, I told myself, speaking of reinventing, I had always desired to play guitar, but never thought that I could hurt my fingers, couldn't read notes.
Hmm.
So I forced myself to do it back in it was 2019, and I learned just your basic notes.
Hmm.
There are some that I can't play, but it's amazing how many songs that
Yeah.
I can play with just basic chords.
Yeah.
Not the notes, but the chords.
Yeah.
So I did it. I did it and I started that was the beginning of my journey and starting to discover things about myself and stop being so afraid and thinking, no, I can't do it. I'll never be able to learn and just take that leap that
Mhm.
yeah, you can do it. You have to
Yeah.
apply yourself, and sometimes it takes a little forcing to do it. And
It
so,
does.
yeah. And my next question is, do you feel that women over 50 usually have a harder time asking for help in learning something new? And if so, why? Like I don't
Yes,
know.
yes, I do. I think that older women have a harder time, and I think it's partially generational, and I
Mm,
think it's partly because they think they have to do it all themselves, or they
yeah.
never had a support system younger, so they don't know how to ask for help.
Right, right, exactly. And in my situation, I didn't ask for help. I don't know if you did, um, but I didn't. I just got to the point where I said, "You know what? Enough is enough. I'm tired of not thinking that I can do anything that I desire." And then some of the things I didn't desire, but discovered that I really like them now. And so, did you ever ask for support, outside support, to try to get to learning how to do the harmonica, the drum,
No,
painting?
I
No.
did not. I kind of was self-motivated.
Yep, exactly. And it's amazing to see where you have come from. Last year, you were my very first interview, and I was so excited. And this year, you are my basically almost my first interview for the new year. You're my second, but I think I'll be taking a break in February. So that's why I wanted to make this theme like a Valentine's
Hmm.
theme and I think I'll be coming back in March. But it's nice to have you almost a year later and to see the growth that has happened is absolutely amazing. And tell me what your primary goals are in the next 1 to 3 years, creatively, personally, business wise.
I would like to get more dog clients. I mean, I have private clients, but I actually do need to get some more clients for financial reasons.
Yeah.
Because I currently have an empty room in my house and I do not have a tenant in it. And my last tenant was a nightmare, and I'm not sure I want to go that route again.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's hard.
um, as far as creativity, I bought some watercolor kits and stuff, and I would like to explore watercoloring.
Yeah. We're gonna do that together because I bought watercolors too, and I have not made an effort. I'm so busy, but I really want to do it. And I have those pens that you squeeze water into,
I have those
and then
too.
you just squeeze it on the watercolor palette, and it just, you don't have to dip your brush in water. It automatically has water in it.
Well, yeah, and then it has the brush on the end.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I
And
have
so
those
I'm
too.
excited. One thing with watercolor that frustrated me, and I don't know if this is, pertains to you or not, but one of the things that kept me from it is I wasn't aware because when I paint with acrylics, I don't draw on my canvas.
Hmm.
I just create right
Right.
there, raw on the canvas. With watercolor, what I've noticed, and some of our other friends, excuse me, that are doing it, um, is they're drawing before they paint. So I loved to draw when I was a kid, and I've always loved drawing, but I was never good at it. So I am scared, to like um start that up, but because of everybody else's influence, and I think you and I will probably be doing it at the same time, and so we
Probably.
can touch base and be accountable with
Hmm.
each other. So that's something that's going to be new for me this year. And there's something else that's going to be new for me. I'm going to be joining you on, what is it, 100-day gong?
Yes.
And can you explain to others what gong is?
Okay, 100-day gong is basically a practice that you do for 100 days. You can
Mhm.
take anything you want to do. Maybe you want to learn to play piano or write a book in 100 days or work on a health issue or exercise every day or read every day. Whatever it is that you choose, you make a commitment to do that for 100 days straight. If you
Yep.
miss a day, you start back with number one the next day. So it's a big commitment to do it. I have done
Exactly.
probably a couple of dozen gongs now.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they last, I think I have the chart right
Hmm.
here that I printed out.
Yep.
And this one is going from February 1st to May 12th.
Yes, it is. And that's my birthday. So we will celebrate that you finished
That's
a 100-day gong
right.
on my birthday. So yeah.
That's right. Yes. Well, you know what I'm going to choose? I'm going to choose the watercolor
Okay.
because that's something that is hard for me.
Hmm.
So I'm going to challenge myself, and that's what I'm going to do. And it's going to be hard to do it every day, but even if it's just a couple brush strokes,
Exactly. I mean, you
at
don't
least
have to
I've
put
done
a
it.
time limit on it. It's better actually not to put a time limit on it. Say I'm going to paint for a half an hour every day, but you only have 5 minutes to paint. So I it's easier. Like sometimes I will put time limits on mine that now that I've done so many of them. But when I started, time limits was not what I wanted to do.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Like I have a couple things I'm going to be doing. One is to read every day, and my other one is to drink tea every day.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you can have more than one.
You can put as many as you want, but I think for beginners, one or two is enough. I
Exactly.
know the lady that taught me can have four or five on her list.
Wow.
And she actually shared a story. She was in another country when she was doing part of this gong, and she was on day, I believe, 97. And there was one aspect of her gong she did not get done that day. She
Oh,
had to
no.
start over from number one, and she was 3 days away from finishing.
But was that with just one of the five or all of the five
If
that
you
she
miss
had?
just one of the five, but it was a commitment because it was part of her gong and she did not get it done.
So because she missed one of them, she had to start all over with all
Mm-hmm.
5?
Yep.
Wow. Oh my gosh,
So I
that's
would
discouraging.
recommend you just do a couple at a time that you think you can realistically do.
Right,
Yeah.
right, exactly. I think I'm gonna just do 1 right
Yep.
now and start off at that, and then the
Yep.
next one, how often do they come about? Like after May on your birthday, after May 12th, when will the next one be?
We usually take, Myra and I usually take about 3 or 4 days just to recoup from one, and then we jump right into the next one.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right. Well, that's interesting. So that's exciting. So I'm really excited to join you on that. And um, your business, hoping that it will increase, you'll get some good clients and everything with
I
that.
mean,
So,
right now it's like I have no dogs this month, and I don't have any until the middle of next month that's scheduled.
mhm,
It
right.
always happens because of the holidays, like January and February, even into sometimes March. It's pretty dead because people aren't
Mm.
going anywhere. They're paying
Yeah,
off their Christmas credit card bills,
right.
and all of this stuff. So,
But hey, it's a good time to go to Disney because it's not crowded. So February and May, I think are the best times to go because yeah, people are vacationed out and they are done and they have a lot of debt to pay. So
yeah.
hopefully though, you'll get some more clients soon. And that's
But I'm
amazing
really
though.
good financially because I know that this is going to happen every year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I always have money put aside to pay my bills for the first like 2 to 3 months of the beginning of the year. And
Right.
I've, yeah,
So you're very well planned ahead. So that's really good. That's smart.
yep. I also pay a
So
lot of my bills ahead of time, like my uh, Edison bill, and my City of Long Beach bill. I put money on that account for about 3 months at a time. So
wow.
yeah, it's just easier for me to do that because then I
Yeah.
know if I have a slow month, if something emergency happens, I know those bills are paid.
One thing I have noticed about you is you are a planner
Yeah,
and you do things way before they're actually due. It's, which
I am.
I'm a little bit like that too, but I've noticed that when we've had projects that you've jumped right in to get it done. And I understand that because you just want it done and you don't want to get to the point where you're past the time or the appointment or the due date or whatever it
Hmm.
is, and then you miss it.
Yep.
So it's better to be early than it is to be late, in my opinion.
Mine too.
So my next question is, what is your primary focus when you are encouraging others in their own journey? Are you encouraging others at this point? Have you gotten to that point? Of encouraging others, maybe through your posts. I've noticed that you have been posting a little bit more with the herbs. We have a
Yeah.
group for
Yeah.
everybody out there that doesn't know. I have an herbal group. And Veronica and I are mixing teas. We're trying out new things with our herbs. And Veronica, you've been posting more on that. Lots
Yes.
of knowledge, lots of recipes. So, how do you think? What would your primary focus be with encouraging others that see these new posts that you're posting?
I hope that they get a lot of good information that's going to help them in whatever ways they need help with.
Mm,
Um, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
yeah, because it's important for our health at this age in our life. We need to be finding new ways, healthier ways to eat. I know that you're very conscious about eating healthy. I have always been too, but I've kind of recessed on that. I've kind of slipped back on it, and now I'm getting back to it again. And um,
So am
you
I.
know,
Like I kind of blew it for like 3 months at the end of the year, and
yeah.
now I'm getting back to my healthy stuff again. So,
And I think a lot of women can relate to that, especially around the holidays, because I stress eat.
so do
And
I.
if I'm busy, I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so hungry. I'm just gonna grab whatever, like one of my husband's snacks because I don't have bad snacks, but he does." So
Mhm.
Then he'll get home and he'll say, "Who ate my chips?" I'll be like, "Well, I was really stressed today and I was hungry and I didn't have time
Mhm.
to make anything. So I ate it and now I feel yucky and I can feel the difference and I can't digest it." And then
I'm
I think,
right
"Oh,
there
wait a
with
minute."
you.
Yeah. And then I'll say, "Oh, wait a minute. I have a perfect tea for that. I'll go make a mixture and I'll do my dandelion and my ginger and all that." But one thing I did learn with the ginger, and it if you have GERD, you got to be really careful with ginger because it can cause heartburn. Even though it's really good for digestion, for some reason it can cause the GERD to flare.
Mm.
So, but it's so good for you. It's so good for you and the turmeric and all of that. So, when I do cheat, I'll get on my vibrate plate,
Yep,
and then I'll make a mixture of tea and I'll drink more water and I feel so much better. But it just happens when it's just overly stressed for me, and that's usually around the holidays.
I'm right there with you.
Yep. And but it feels so good to get back on track. My other question is, what do you wish that more women understood about changing their direction in life, about rediscovering themselves? What do you wish that they could understand, or what hurdle do you think that they could get over? What would be your advice for those women who are apprehensive about changing?
I think that they need to realize that it's okay that you're on one path, and if that path is not serving you anymore, it's okay to take a different path.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It's okay. Give yourself permission to
And don't feel
change.
guilty about it, because you
Right.
can change
That's
your mind, because maybe you made this path 5 years ago, but you're not the same person you were 5 years ago. So you need a
right.
different path, a different journey to get to
Yes,
where you wanna be.
exactly. And I think that we need to get over the guilt
Yes.
that some women, they're so used to not doing anything for themselves. They're always caregiving for other people and making sure that they're meeting everybody else's needs. And I know that at our age, I'll speak for myself. At my age, at 60, I'm in the crunch. I'm in the middle where I'm a caregiver for my elderly mom, and I'm also a parent of adult children that are maneuvering their way into adulting.
Mhm.
And so there's just so much going on, but uh, through it all, I have managed to find my way to rediscover myself because it is so important for your mental health. If
Mhm.
anything, you need a break. You need to take that break and you need to be good to yourself. I know that a lot of people, like I'll speak for myself. I don't go get my hair done. I don't get a manicure. I don't get a pedicure. I don't do much of anything of that, and at all, but I want to. And so that's another goal of mine this year, is to do one thing that would be pampering for myself. Now, yes, I paint, and yes, I play an instrument, and yes, I have groups and I make remedies, but I want to do something that's pampering. And I think, speaking for myself, is I felt guilty. I felt guilty that, why am I doing this? Why am I spending money on myself when I could be spending money on somebody else or something else that's much more reasonable? But
Because you
we're
deserve it.
reasonable.
Because you
Yeah.
deserve it.
Yeah. And I have to say that that is one thing that you have encouraged me with, because when I see your posts, or when we're chatting or whatever, and you're telling me, "Oh, I'm going to do this today, I'm going to do that today," I'm like, you know what? I need to do something too. I need to do something like that, and I need to go get my hair done, or um, even if it's just going for a walk, just to clear my mind.
Mhm.
Although it's hard to go for me with my injury on my leg, it's hard for me to go walking on uneven ground. Um,
Is there a place like maybe a mall or some place that you can drive to and then walk?
yeah, a
But
mall is
or
a
a
really good
park
idea.
or a
Mm-hmm.
park on nice, nice days it's not too hot out for you, or
Yeah. Yep.
then you're
And
out in
so,
nature also.
yep. And people might not think that walking is pampering, but let me tell you, when I have done it, it is pampering. It's pampering to your brain because it's clearing all the loudness from your brain and you're focusing on your breathing, you're focusing on nature. Um, it realigns your way of thinking. I mean,
Mhm.
it really is beneficial for you. And so that's something that I'm going to probably do more of. I might add that to my gong. I don't know. I might just start out with the one like I was saying.
Well,
Um
so with my gong, I also do intentions, which is not an everyday thing that I do, but it's like something that you want to incorporate into your life, but not necessarily can do it every single day. So I
yeah.
do like monthly or weekly intentions that I'm going to do this at least one time a week or one time a month. I'm going to do this, and
Is that
that's a
something you is that something you think that could be added to this gong sheet, like maybe like an
yeah. Like on the
intention?
bottom where I list my gongs on the bottom. I mean,
Oh, okay.
I sent you a plain one because uh, you don't need to see what I'm doing. And then
No,
after
right.
I list my gong, I put intentions, and I have like 4 or 5 intentions that I want to really incorporate into my life on a regular basis.
Right.
So
But it's
yes,
not necessarily daily, but it might be weekly, it might be monthly, whatever.
yeah,
Okay. So that's interesting too. So that's something else. I don't know. Are we able to make this accessible for anybody out there that would be willing to do this on their own? Like a
that's my
printable,
template. So I don't
a PDF?
I don't know how to do any of that to share it,
Okay. Okay.
but
Well, and
that's a
all you have
basic
to
one.
do, yeah, all they have to do is create, you could even write on a notepad 1 to 100
Yeah,
and then check mark it off every day, put your gongs on the bottom of your notebook,
mm,
and you could even do it in your journal. You could
yeah,
actually journal this.
yep,
Each
they can.
page, yeah, each page in your journal could be about the gong or the gongs that you choose, and you could write about it for that day. And if you had a hard time doing it that day, how long you did it for that day.
Yep,
I think that'd be a great idea if they use their
yep,
journals to do that.
that would be great.
But this is
I
good for me because I really like that idea.
Yeah, well, I've been doing those for a number of years because it was easier to keep track. And at the end of the day, I take a colored pencil and I color in the square for the day.
Yeah, yeah. I remember, we used to have things like this when I was in fourth grade. Each row had a book. You had to read a little tiny pamphlet, like maybe 10 in brown and yellow and blue, and then you would pencil it in. And when you were done reading that level, and then you go on to the next level. So I remember doing that. So that's a very good way of doing it, is coloring it in. I also wanted to ask, what parts of your story do you think feel unresolved or in progress?
I think my health journey is a progress. I don't think it'll ever be completely done,
Yeah,
but I work on it.
yeah,
Um, and um, even just being creative, like I'm getting more creative and I
yeah.
want to continue to work on that also.
Yep. Yep. That's a really good goal. And I think we all have to continue on our health journeys. I don't think you ever arrive. I mean, I've seen people who stopped working out because of surgery. I'm
Mhm.
one of them. And, they've had to reevaluate themselves months later because things change. Things always change, but you can
Hmm.
always get back on track. And that's the thing that, my podcast is for encouraging women to get back on track, to keep searching, to be bold, to be courageous, and to not give up because you matter. And so that's what it's all about is trying new things.
Hmm.
Don't be afraid, if you don't have to fit the mold. You don't have to be like everybody else. For me, it's always been fear of, oh, well, if I draw that picture, it's not going to be as good as that artist's picture. Well, we
It
don't
doesn't
have
matter.
to be right. Exactly. Just do it. And it's your art, and art is in the eye of the beholder. So just
Hmm.
everybody needs to remember that, art is art. It doesn't matter. You don't have to fit a certain mold.
No.
So that's what I love so much about art. Um, and then the health journey is just always learning, always researching, always learning, always finding new things to incorporate into your diet and into your health regime. And so I just encourage everybody to just, this is a new year, and I just encourage you to find something to do that's different. And different is hard, but different is important. And so, Veronica, where do you hope to see more growth or confidence? Is it your art? Is it your diet? Is it the maybe some herbal remedies that you're making? I've seen that you've been doing that too with some of your posts, that you're making more mixtures of the teas. And are you making some wait a minute, are you making herbal remedies? Did you make an herbal remedy lately?
Not, I bought some of the things to make it, but I have not actually made it yet.
Okay.
I used to, one of the businesses I had many years ago, which failed because I'm not good at publicity and putting myself out there, was
Promoting.
I was doing skincare products, homemade skincare
Oh,
products using natural ingredients that were good for the skin and the body.
okay. All right. Maybe that's something that you can get back to doing if you enjoyed it.
It was difficult. I mean, the stuff is, some of the things I had to use were very expensive, and
Yeah.
if I couldn't sell them, then I wound up just giving them away. So I lost a lot of money. So it's probably
Yeah.
not something I would do again as a business. But
Yeah.
I do still make my own toothpaste.
Yeah. And what does that consist of?
It's, it's so simple. It is coconut oil and baking soda,
Wow.
and sometimes
You
I
put
put
it
a,
in a jar?
yeah, and then I dip my toothbrush in it.
So
Um,
does the coconut oil, is it the oh, is it the refined organic? And does it get hardened, or is it liquidy?
it No, it's the regular. It's not the fractionated one that is always liquid. No,
Right,
it's the
right.
regular one. But during the summer when it's hot, the regular one
Yeah,
does, and then
yeah,
during the winter when it's cool, it gets solid again.
yeah,
And
exactly.
sometimes I do put a little bit of high grade peppermint essential oil in it to give it a little flavor.
Okay. And what's the ratios?
I don't really have a ratio. I would do maybe one drop of the oil because it is very strong. You don't want it to be
Oh,
overpowering.
yeah.
But the ratios, you use more coconut oil than you do the baking soda because you don't want the abrasion of the baking soda to pull the enamel off your teeth. So
Right.
it's mostly coconut oil with a little bit of baking soda in it for the whitening and stuff effect.
And that prevents cavities too.
Yep,
Yep. And you do some oil pulling with the coconut oil, right?
I do.
And that's the melted, that's the liquefied version.
No, I just take a little spoonful of the hard one and you just kind of swish it around in your mouth and it turns liquid in your mouth.
Right, right,
And you swish it around in your mouth for like 10-15 minutes and you spit it out. Do not swallow it. And
right.
then you rinse out your mouth with just clean water.
Right, and
And
that
what it does,
detoxifies. Yeah.
yeah, it pulls toxins out of your mouth. It pulls infections out if you have like a tooth problem or a gum problem, abscesses. It will help pull the toxins out so it doesn't get worse.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Are there any other home remedies that you make just for yourself besides the toothpaste?
Not so much right now,
Right.
but I have before.
With the lotions and everything like that.
Yeah, the lotions are very expensive to make. So,
Yeah. And
um,
I've been making soaps. I started making soaps. Well, I made them for Christmas presents, but I learned that it's a lot of fun. You just have to be careful with your measurements
mhm.
and temperatures, which is not always fun for me, but I love the outcome of, and it smells so good. I usually use the melt and pour. I know a lot of people will buy the lye. I'm not
I don't
interested.
want lye in my stuff.
No,
It
I
is
don't want
harsh on the skin.
it. Oh, well, I don't want lye. I don't want to work with lye because it can burn. You have to
Yeah,
wear gloves and a mask and goggles, and it could splash up and burn your hand, whatever.
yeah,
But
but it's also very hard on the skin when you use lye soap. I
yeah,
know that's what they used to do back in the day because that's what they had, and they made their soaps out of it, and they made their dish soap and their laundry detergent out of lye.
yeah.
But it's not something that I would get into lye because I have very thin, sensitive skin, and that stuff would burn me.
Right, right.
I
I was
want
telling my
more.
son, go ahead.
I want more natural things that are cleansing yet moisturizing in my skin. So,
Right. And I told my son, I said, I'm making some soaps. And he said, well, do you have any lye? And I said, no, I'm not using lye. And he goes, well, you can't make soap without lye. And so the melt and pour, I believe, already comes with lye in it. So I think that all soaps, if you want them to lather, bubble and lather, I think that they do come with lye. I think
hmm,
that's the base. That's the base of all soaps. But that's only if you want it to be lathery, I believe. I don't know. I'm going to have to look back into that. I'm going to have to look into it because I definitely didn't want to work with it and
mhm.
add it to anything, but I think it's already mixed in the base. Um, but we have a little debate going on, my son and I. So I'm going to be doing some research on it and we'll see what we come up with. And so, also in regards to patterns that are transforming, what patterns are you working to shift? I know that we talked about getting to eat better, improving, and you're gonna do the gong, and you're gonna improve on the painting and the reading and all that. But is there a pattern that you see? Um, Maybe something that you don't like, a pattern that you're working to shift, maybe getting away from a little bit more because um it's
Negative
something.
self talk.
Negative self-talk. Yep. Yep, I can relate to that. I can relate to that, and I think that comes from just the way I think maybe we were raised, or maybe the influences that we had around us at school. I know that there's a lot of people out there listening today that can relate to what you just said about that negative self-talk. And it has to do a lot with the culture maybe that we grew up around, our environment, and the lies that we listen to about ourselves coming from other people, getting to
Mhm,
the point where now we actually believe those lies. And some of us were bullied. Um, some of us were bullied severely. So I think it all comes from that. How do you suggest that we get away from the stinking thinking, and that we can get develop more positive thoughts about ourselves and know who we really, who we truly are?
It's difficult because you have all those old programs that play in your head and record it in your head, and it's hard to get away from it. It is.
It really
Um,
is.
but I think reading encouraging words, uh, music can do it. I mean, there are certain, songs that are really positive that can bring you into a more positive state of mind.
Yes.
Um, I do meditation. I do tapping in the mornings. Um,
Can you explain what that is? What tapping is?
Tapping is called EFT, but the we just call it tapping, and it is like tapping on certain points in your on your body, they're meridian points. So
Mhm.
it helps relax you. It can help with pain. I mean, it is a wide world of things that it helps with. But for me, I use it when I get anxiety or nervousness. It helps calm me down.
Okay. And I think, you know, I've heard that if you tap um where your lymph nodes are, where is it? Right in here. You're tapping. It helps to reduce the inflammation and to drain that lymphatic system from toxins. So tapping really is beneficial
Hmm.
health-wise
It
because
is.
it releases, but you have to do it in certain areas because that's where like your sinuses.
Okay,
Oh,
so I do a 7 step. It's the side of the hand where you're saying your negative thoughts, and then you go
mhm.
into your positive thoughts, and it's the eyebrows, the side of the eye, under the eye, under your nose, your chin area, your breastbone here,
Mhm.
sternum, whatever it is, under your arm, and then the top of your head. Those are the ones that I
Okay.
go through, and I cycle through them every morning.
Okay, well, health-wise, it is beneficial for the lymph node system because not many people think about that because you don't know, like they're there, like under your arms and
Hmm.
your neck. I think this is the décolletage. I think there's something in here too,
Right.
and like in the sinuses, especially if you tapping on those. Others, I know for me to start uh reversing the negative thoughts and the negative voices and even my negativity of speaking, it was my faith is what um taught me who I am and who I was created to be. And as a Christian, that is my identity. My identity is who I am in Christ, and that I can do all things through Christ that who strengthens me. And if I meditate on that every single day, then I know that he's got my back and I know that it doesn't matter what anybody else says to me, what
Hmm.
anybody else thinks, as long as I know that my creator thinks that I was special, that I'm special enough that he made me. And so he loves me. And so that's my way of I'm not saying that I do it well every day. I don't say that I meditate well every day on his word, but when I do, it really encourages me, and it's amazing how beneficial that it is and how it just automatically affects the way that I think for the rest of the day. But if I avoid it, if I ignore it because I'm depressed or because I'm upset and I'm like, no, I'm not going to read my devotions today, I don't have time, I'm not going to get in the word of God today, my day goes bad and I think negative and I get upset and everything. But when I put him first every morning and I read who I am in him, my whole day goes so much more peaceful. And that doesn't mean that I'm not going to run into obstacles.
Hmm.
That doesn't mean, but I'm going to be equipped to handle it more with grace and I'm going to
Yeah.
rely on him. So that really helps me to get out of that stinking thinking because those lies are from hurt people. Hurt people hurt people.
Yes, they
And
do.
and we have to be careful because if we're hurt, we really got to be aware and mindful to watch what we say to not hurt other people. And boy, that used to be really hard for me. It's getting easier now that I'm getting older, but I used to
Mhm.
want to lash out at those who hurt me. Um, I don't know if that's difficult for you and how you handle that with people who hurt you. And if you
I
have,
internalize it.
you internalize it.
Yeah, I don't really like go after people when they hurt me. I just internalize the whole thing, and then
Yeah.
it seeps in, and then you can get very sick because you're not releasing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. You can just think and dwell upon it all the time, and you don't want to keep it in. You really don't, but you don't want to lash it out at the person because then you know better than they are.
So I
But
find writing helps.
writing
If
about
you
it,
write
yep.
it out, if you write a poetry, if you just write whatever, or listening to positive music can sometimes help.
Yes.
Going for
Yes,
a
and
long walk because you get your endorphins going and then you feel better.
exactly. And I think Henry Wadsworth Longfellow really wrote his best poem. I believe it was called I Heard the Bells. Um, and it's a song. And when his wife, died in a fire, and his pain, he wrote, he almost gave up. And but he came back. He came back around and he wrote his best work at that time out of pain. And I think that poetry is is best written when you are coming out of that pain or through that pain.
Mhm.
And talk a little bit about your poetry for our listeners today. What kind of poetry do you write and what influences you? Is it from your pain or is it just from, uh,
When I started writing poetry when I was a teenager because I was always in pain. I was bullied. I didn't really have any friends. So a lot of that poetry came from that, but I was also very religious at the time. I'm not so much anymore, but I was. So it was a lot about God and nature and things like that.
Mhm.
Um, and then as I wrote more, like my last couple of years that I wrote when I was in my 40s and 50s, it advanced to other types of poems and different emotions and things like that.
Right,
Um,
right.
but I actually, back in like 2016 or 2015, I actually entered a poem into a contest and they
Mm.
published it in this book.
That's
I would,
amazing. And
yeah, it's called
that's called Across the Way for people who are just listening to us and not watching us. It's called Across the Way
Waterways.
Waterways.
Yeah, and I would
Okay.
like to read the first poem that I ever got published.
Absolutely. And they're not in publication anymore though, these books, right?
No, because it's done through Ever and Wine Publishing. So after a few years, they're not available anymore. I mean,
Oh, that's a shame.
yeah, and so I mean, I not only have this one published in this one, but I have probably 4 or 5 other poems published in their anthology poetry books.
Oh, wow. I'd love to hear it.
It's called Emergence. God's love is unchanging, but we are changing all the time, starting like a caterpillar and emerging as a butterfly, free and beautiful. We are born to purity. Sin makes us ugly and bound to the earth like a caterpillar, but we can evolve and grow with God's love and grace and end up free and beautiful like the butterfly. Take God's
Mm.
word and promises to heart and watch as He transforms you into a beautiful creature, free to be all He wants you to be.
Wow, wow, wow. That is amazing. And isn't it amazing that you have butterflies behind you and I
I
have
love butterflies.
butterflies?
They have special meaning to me.
Exactly. And I have butterflies behind
Mm-hmm.
me. And because they do come out from that yuck, that,
Mhm.
you know, they're not so beautiful self into beautiful creatures. Boy, that is a beautiful poem.
And then I have one other poem that I wrote in May. I think I wrote it in June of 2020. It is a poem that I wrote as a memorial to my friend Daniel that passed away.
Oh, yes, yes, you told
Like
me
a
about
mighty,
that.
yeah, like a mighty oak tree reaching to the sky, strong and tall, deep rooted, protecting all the young saplings. Birds build nests and animals find protection in your branches. Living its life to the fullest, it never really dies, just transforms into something new, just like you, my dear friend Daniel. You will live on in our hearts through Dean, who has your intense blue eyes, smile, laughter, and ability to live life in the moment. I see
Wow.
the curiosity in Dean that I saw in you, his love for books and learning just like his dad. You dreamed big and changed the world one small act at a time. You have taught me to live life unafraid and never let an opportunity pass me by. You and Mai have unconditionally loved me from the start, and I loved you so much. I am grateful for the time I had with you, for being there for me, for celebrating small and large accomplishments in my life, for all the incredible hugs, for the words of encouragement, for being my family, for making me feel special, for wisdom that you've imparted to me. Let me be a living legacy for all that you stood for and believed in. I feel your presence around me, especially in nature. You are my angel, guiding me from a spiritual realm. I feel your love and miss you deeply. You will always live in my heart. Rest in peace, my dear friend.
That is so beautiful. And I do know the backstory about that. And he is the one, I think, if I don't know if you agree, I'm pretty sure you do. I think he's the one that was the most influential in your life.
Definitely.
Yeah. And if you can, that poem right there is basically keeping you growing. It's keeping you growing and it's keeping you encouraged. Such a lovely tribute to him and how his life just really touched you so
Mhm.
much. And wow, you know, what a blessing to have had somebody like that in your life because not many people do.
And I had never had before I met him.
Wow.
Um,
Wow. He came
he,
into your life at such a time, at the perfect time that you needed.
yes, he did. It's a funny story how I met him. I went to a really early morning yoga class, and he was teaching that class. And he had his guitar, and he was playing and singing his own original music, because he was a musician and an author and a coach and a mentor. And I think I went to two or three of his classes. And then one day we met, and we took a long walk at the nature center, and we sat and we talked for a couple hours. And he was starting a coaching business, and I was his very first client.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you were my first podcast interview and you were his first client. That's
Hmm.
amazing.
Yeah.
You're in the right place at the right time all the time. That's amazing. And his life was cut short.
It was. He died in 2020 in May on Mother's Day, 3 days before my birthday,
Oh,
in
wow. And it,
Israel, where his
oh,
wife's family is from.
oh, okay. And it was not COVID related.
It was not COVID related. We do not know what happened. We'll never know what happened.
Wow, that's heartbreaking. But such a blessing, though, still to keep in mind that the gift that he gave to you
Yeah,
is irrevocable,
it is.
irreplaceable, and such a blessing. And that poem that just honors him is unbelievable. And that was published in which book? And that
It
one's
was
not.
not, it was never published.
Oh, it was never
It was
published.
never published because I haven't written any. When I wrote this book and got it published, it was many years before the whole tragedy with Daniel happened. So,
Okay, okay. And can you tell us about that book, your book? And that's available on Amazon.
yes, it is.
And I was supposed my copy was supposed to come in I think today or tomorrow. I have not received it yet, but I encourage anybody that's watching and listening today to go out and get Veronica's book because she's going to tell us about it right now.
So it's called Journey into Myself, My Life Through Poetry. And it's kind of in sections. Um, yeah, it's in, so it's like my teenage and early 20 years, my 30s, then my 40s and 50s. So it's in sections. And as I progressed with my writing, my poems got longer, they got more intense, and more, I don't want to say real, but it's like I was dreaming more, I was thinking more positively, and I could write more about my feelings and stuff later in this book, um,
Right, because you were growing.
because I was growing. Yeah.
So it's a compilation of poetry through the decades.
Yep. That's what it is.
Wow. And about your life
And
or
about
just
my, yeah,
okay. Yep, about your life through the decades. That's beautiful. But you didn't mention the 60s.
because that book was written before I turned 60. It was
Right.
written when I was in my early 50s.
Right. So now we need to do a part two.
No, I don't care to write another book. I don't have enough poetry that lately that because I don't write that often anymore. I have to be really inspired to write.
Yeah.
And because if I sit down at a blank paper and nothing comes, it's frustrating to me. Some of these
Yeah.
poems I wrote in like 20 minutes. Other ones I struggled with. So
Yeah.
I just have to have the right motivation and to do it. And I haven't found that lately. So,
Well, maybe, the more creativity that you do, that you get involved with, which you've been getting really creative lately.
mhm.
Who knows? Who knows? Maybe the desire
Yeah,
will come back,
maybe. Or maybe
you
it
know?
was a time in my life that I needed to do that. And now I've moved on to other things. So,
Right, exactly. Wow, that is really beautiful. But if anybody wants to get a copy of Veronica's book, and could you hold it up just one more time for us and we'll and read it's My Journey Unto Myself by Veronica Durre. And you can get that on Amazon.
yes.
And
You
I will
have to
also, oh, go ahead.
you have to search for it though. You can't just type it in. You
Right.
have to like do it in Dale, like help what do you call that? I think Alexa or something can help.
Oh, well,
I
I
don't know.
typed
There's
mine in.
Oh, did you find it right away?
It came right up.
Okay. Well,
The title of the book and by Veronica Durre,
okay,
and
good.
it came right up. So it was really easy for me to order. And also, I'm going to provide the link below in the description and pictures for you to see all of Veronica's artwork and her fence and her rock garden and all of her beautiful embroidery. Or is it cross stitch? It's embroidery, right?
Most of it's embroidery, yes.
Okay, yeah, because you do those really cute little flowers. I'm learning embroidery and I'm learning watercolor and I'm learning embroidery. These are the two things that are very different for me. So talk
Hmm.
about doing different. That's very different. Last year, my different was learning to quilt. And I made two quilts and a tote, like a purse and a couple of little decorations for Easter. At the time they were bunny rabbits. And so that's a lot of fun too. But if you don't like math and you don't enjoy cutting, then quilting is not for you. So,
It's
I
not for
mean,
me. I'm not a sewer in any way, and trying to cut straight would drive me crazy.
yeah, I had a very, very hard time and I had to invest in a sewing machine. Everything that I didn't like to do, I forced myself to do last year. And I really did enjoy it when it wasn't too intricate,
Uh-huh.
when it was more simple, like the nine patch or the crazy quilt, those were fun. But if it got to be a little bit more detailed, like my third quilt that I'm working on right now, that's a little bit harder. And so I've put it, on the back burner because I don't want to get too discouraged, but I'm not going
Mm.
to give up. I don't quit. I don't give up. I'm going to continue to pursue it. That's what I'm all about, is doing different. That revelation came to me in 2020, and I'm not looking back. I'm going to keep going. I'm not looking back to before 2020. I'm going to keep doing. I mean, yes, 2019 I learned guitar, but it was 2020 when it really the revelation came upon me to I was sitting and I was being interviewed on a podcast by Laura, not Laura Carney, but
Stacy?
Stacy Lauren on Do the Thing, and she was interviewing me, and we were talking about um, what's happened since 2020 and all the different things that were happening to me, and what encouraged me and the position that I had in a community that was very large, and that's where I met you. But it got to the point where I said, I just realized that everything was different and I didn't like different. And I didn't like the feeling that I had, and everything was changing. And I was having grief from the changes, and it didn't feel good. It felt like a death. And I think a lot of women can relate to that, especially when your kids are grown and you say to yourself, what now? What am I going to do now? I've lived my entire life raising my children, doing what's best for them, being concerned about them, being a caregiver for my parent, whatever. You could be I was a caregiver for my disabled son as well. And then all of a sudden, I mean, and it happens quick. It happens really quick. And all of a sudden it's over. And I'm not talking about somebody's death. I'm talking about they're grown, they're gone, and you look around and you go, "What? Well, now what am I gonna do?" I I had an anxiety attack because I was like, "I don't know what to do. I don't have anybody to take care of." Well, I have my husband, but I mean, he's an adult and he takes care of himself. But I just didn't know what, no more ballet recitals, no more proms,
Mhm.
no more scholarship awards to go to, no more, that. So, you know what I decided to do? My first different thing was I'm going to enroll in college. I never went to college, and I got my GED in 10th grade. I quit school, got my GED, and I was afraid of college. So, what we're talking about here today on this podcast is a lot about having a fear that stifles you and paralyzes you to the point that what you want to do, you don't dare to do because for
Mhm.
whatever reason, for failure, for people making fun of you, whatever. I thought to myself, I'm going to go to college. I qualified for a Pell Grant and I just did it. And I was, never took algebra in my life and never wrote a composition, didn't even know what it was. Um, Never took psychology. I, never took, government. Never did anything like that. And I did it, and I maintained a 4.0 grade point average, and I shocked myself. And I even got a little bit, of criticism from some of the family members like, well, um, it isn't really the math that you learned, isn't it's not really like the math that's
Mhm.
way up high, it's like kind of like this kind of math. But it doesn't matter. To me, I had um jumped over a hurdle that I never thought that I was going to be
Mhm.
able to do. And so it started with that. And when I was talking to Stacy Lauren about it, I just said, I started doing different. And she says, "Ooh, that's good. Doing different, finding your voice." Well, finding my voice, finding your voice was her, saying that was hers. But doing different, I adapt, I took that on. And she goes, "Yes, you need to do something with that." And that's what propelled me to help other women over 50 aging gracefully to do different and not be afraid to step out and do different. And then the painting, though I had painted way before, it was not the painting that I started doing in 2020. From all I can say is an inspiration from God himself. I didn't look at YouTube videos. I didn't look at books. I just sat down with a canvas and started painting. And, you know, I could look at something and I could paint it. I could look at a picture and I could paint it, but it wasn't lessons and it wasn't YouTube instructional videos. It was just, you know, observing colors, which I never wanted to learn about before. But I was looking at shadows and I was looking at colors and different shades of colors and thinking, then looking at my paint and going, wait a minute, I can create that shadow and I can create that color. And I didn't have to draw the picture. It was much easier not to. And I just started painting and I amazed myself because I was like, "Oh no, this isn't me. This is not me. This is only through God that is inspiring me because this is a gift that he has given to me." And then it just went on from there. Hey, we need to get healthy. I think I'm going to grow a garden because I was just coated on my sheds outside and now we got to move those sheds. Now what am I going to do with this yard that's full of dirt? And I'm like, I'm going to create a garden. And now I'm going to learn how to be healthy and make my own home remedies because I'm sick of all these medicines that are making me sick. And so it just domino effect from there. And I had to share it. I just had to share it. And that's what this podcast was born out of, was just a passion for doing different. And when you and I met, I was like drawn to you because I could see your potential, because I could see a little bit of myself in you, of that apprehension. And we were both hurt in our lives. And I wanted to encourage you to come out of that maybe that mindset, or just find your creative side, because we all
Mhm.
know that creativity is therapy. And do you know how much people pay for, I mean, therapy? I was in therapy for a little while, years and years ago, and I don't know if you were,
I
or
was,
but it can
and it
get
did
expensive.
not help.
No, but being creative releases endorphins, and
Mhm.
it helps your mind. And so no matter what that is, it doesn't have to be painting. You and I have a friend that has been making cards for 30 years.
Mhm.
Fabulous cards. Her drawing and her watercolors are incredible. We have our painting class that's coming up, actually the 14th, painting with purpose. So if anybody wants to join us, please, I will give you my email in the description below. You can email me, you can DM me on Kim Sear Baker on Facebook. Sear is spelled CYR. My groups are private, so I make sure that rules are followed. And if you are interested in coming to our Painting with Purpose gatherings, they also include crafts and different things throughout the season. We mainly focus on painting either stones or on canvas or watercoloring, painting, whatever. This Wednesday is going to be painting our hearts out. And we're going to be doing a Valentine's Day project. And what we usually do is we usually take a vote on some of the pictures that I'll post, but it's just for fun, to see how many people like particular pictures. But you can paint any picture that I post, and you can paint anything that you like yourself. So it doesn't matter. We're not here to dictate a certain artwork that you have to do. You can come and create anything that you want to create. Creating is therapy, and I want to encourage you to join us in doing that. I have a home remedy group. I have a bunch of groups, but right now we're focusing on creating for ourselves. Do something good for yourself. I know your friend is going to be joining us as well.
She
Um,
is, and she's
and
excited about it.
I am so excited, and I know that there are 7 or 8 people coming this time. Did you check that out?
No, I haven't checked that out yet, but
Yeah,
I'm
this is
I'm glad that it's growing and people are getting more interested and doing the
yeah.
creative things.
Yes, and because it really is helping, and it
Mm,
also takes time for you. You know,
yes.
1 hour, and we can go on. I mean, we don't have to stay within an hour. Some of us stay an hour and a half. I could stay on like all night long. It doesn't matter to me. But just give yourself 1 hour, break away from the routine of instead of sitting down watching TV, or, just get a pad of paper, get a canvas, get some paints, get some paintbrushes, markers, colored pencils, watercolors, cardstock, whatever it is, ribbons, and what's that tape called? Washi tape you can make cards
Washi
with.
tape, yeah.
Yeah, anything. Just start being creative. I just encourage you, and don't think that you had to have to be perfect at it. It's just a lot of fun. And in our group, we come with our favorite drink. We Veronica here, she leads the trivia questions. And then she has made some beautiful bookmarks. She just sent me a stack of them, absolutely gorgeous bookmarks, that we give away along with a book. And I have a book giveaway for that class, but I also do a book giveaway about once or twice a month, that goes along with my other group that is goes along with this podcast called Doing Different with Kimmy. So that is also a private group. If you want to join that, just DM me. And in that group and in my podcaster, I have another group for authors and podcasters. And you can just ask me all of those questions in a DM. But I have book giveaways in those groups as well. So if you're ever interested, just look down below at the description and get a hold of us. Check out Veronica's book. Um, I'm waiting for mine to come in. I was supposed to order it, oh my gosh, a couple of months ago. Completely forgot about it, put it in order later in my cart and order later, and that got pushed down with all of the Christmas, stuff that I was
Mhm.
saving for later, save for later, save for later when I got the money, but I
And I just
finally,
wanna say that Kim is also writing a memoir.
yes, yes, I am writing a memoir that did take the back burner, was put on the back burner for a little while. Only because of the holidays and my caregiving duties and stuff like that, but I've gotten 2 chapters done. It is on my website, doing-different, .com, and so you can go out there and read it. I don't think that was written though in a memoir fashion at the time that I started writing it, so I might be redoing some of that and making it more into my memoir. I think I got to be a little bit less detailed, perhaps. I don't know. I was just writing, and you know, I I I get some help with spell check and the thesaurus for words and stuff like that. So that always, and plus, going to college, by the way, I discovered that I love writing essays. And so that really grew me into how to write. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love to write. And I was learning all the big words and I was learning all of the different things. And that just got me so excited. So I am using that knowledge that I learned in college. It's never, ever, ever, ever too late to learn anything. If you want to, I don't like to cook. I can cook, but if I wanted to take a cooking class, then I would do that. If you want to, whatever it is that you decide that you want to do, just do it. And so I encourage you to join Veronica and I this Wednesday on the 14th. So, my final reflection for our podcast today, Veronica, is what encouragement would you leave for someone navigating their own doing different season?
I think just follow your heart, follow your passions. If something doesn't work, try something different.
Right,
Just keep on one day at a time, one step at a time, and
right.
eventually you'll be the person you want to be.
Exactly. Just don't give up.
Yeah,
Don't give
don't
up.
give up.
Because that is the worst thing that you can do, and it just it reminds me of the gong, right? It's
Yep,
like you're doing this and then you miss it and then you start all over again, right? And
yep,
so that's a good example is if you do give up, we encourage you not to give up, but if you do, you're only human. um don't stay stuck.
yep.
Get back up and start over until you get it right and to the point where you feel like you're growing, because growth never ever stops, no matter how old you are.
Nope.
And so, with that said, Veronica, thank you so much for being my guest today. It was a pleasure having you on. I'm so happy to have seen your growth this past year. And I look forward to this year with you and growing more and our groups that we share together. And I believe you're also a co-admin with me. I've in
I am.
I forgot the group. I got so many groups. I think it's the painting.
It's doing different with Kimmy.
Oh, it is doing different. Okay, well then we have to change we have to add you with the painting too, because
Yeah,
you're in charge of our trivia. And so thank you for the bookmarks, by the way.
you're welcome.
Very creative. I love them. They're perfect. They're so nice. And so yeah, so thank you so much for being my guest. It was such a pleasure. And until next time, keep
Keep
doing
doing different.
different. Bye bye.
Thank you for joining me on my podcast today. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can get this out to as many women as possible.